My sister found the tapes in the attic after the funeral, hidden away in a cardboard box filled with a dozen or so tapes. Our father's version of a time capsule, I suppose. She gave me 3 of them before I left to return home, stored in a Ziploc bag, as if she thought they'd rot or leak if left unsealed. "I think Dad meant for you to have these," she said, her voice distant. "He kept them separate from the others." At the time, I didn't think much of it. Just old home movies. Nostalgia, maybe. Or his version of a time capsule. It wasn't until 2 weeks later, on a rainy Wednesday night, that I started digging through them. I'd had too much to drink, and I felt sentimental. The tapes were high 8 cassettes from the late 90s. On them were handwritten labels written in an elegant hand. Springfield Trip 93, First Steps 94, Xmas 95. And under each label, Nate, my name, had been scratched on with a black marker. There was something comforting about the handwriting. Familiar, but not quite. A strange nostalgia, like remembering a dream from someone else's childhood. I found an old camcorder Dad had bought me back in the day, plugged it into the TV with a mess of Frankenstein cords, stuck the oldest tape in, and hit play. The screen flickered, static. Then, a baby me, I guessed, being held by a woman I didn't recognize. We were in a wide field. It must have been summer. She had curly brown hair, big sunglasses, and a laugh that came from deep in her belly. She looked happy. She looked in love. But not with me. With whoever was filming. "That's it, sweetheart," a man's voice chuckled from behind the camera. "Get a close-up of those chubby cheeks." The woman cradled the baby me up toward the lens and winked. "That's our boy," she said, and then turned towards something off camera. Her smile faltered slightly. The camera panned over. In the distance, near the tree line, stood a figure. Far away, unmoving, dressed in dark clothes, just standing there, watching. "Do you see that?" the woman asked. The man zoomed in slightly. The figure didn't move. "It's probably just someone out for a walk," he said, though his voice was quieter now. She turned to him. "That's the same man from yesterday, Frank." The camera jolted slightly, a jerk of motion, and then static, a hard cut. I rewound and played it again, and again, unsure what to make of it all, a creeping chill crawling up the back of my neck. The second tape was First Steps. Same woman, same man, same baby Nate. But this time, something was off. The house didn't match my memories. The wallpaper wasn't the one I grew up with. The couch was a different color than in any family photo. When I took those first steps, wobbling and laughing, I fell into the arms of that same strange woman. She kissed me on the cheek. "You did it, my big boy." In the background, through the window, at the edge of the yard, just beyond the fence, that same figure. Still. Staring. I paused the tape, rewound it, and went frame by frame. And there it was. Black clothes, long dark hair, pale skin. A barely visible face, but one I recognized. The man filming stepped into frame briefly. Broad shoulders, strong jaw, glasses. Not my dad, or at least not the man I grew up calling father. He gave the woman a kiss on the cheek, and together, with their child, me, they made a perfect family. Then came the third tape, Xmas 95. This one started out warm, familiar. The living room glowed with garland and wrapping paper. A crooked artificial tree stood in the corner. Holiday music crackled from the radio. The woman, my real mother, I realized, wore a red turtleneck. No makeup, just joy in her eyes. She handed a present to the baby version of me, a toddler in green footy pajamas. Frank, that was his name, the man from the earlier tapes, smiled from the carpet. He adjusted the camera on the tripod and gave a thumbs up. "All right, Nate, let's see what Santa brought you." He stood and knelt beside me, helping tear the paper. The camera, now unattended, faced slightly askew, catching the hallway just past the living room. Then, movement. A tall figure stepped into view. His hair was jet black. His clothes are dark. His posture was stiff and wrong. He stood half-lit by Christmas lights, staring straight ahead. It was the man I knew as Dad, the man who raised me. But here, in this footage, he was something else. My mother's gasp came first. "Frank!" she whispered. "Frank, he's here!" Then scuffling and the sound of paper crinkling, Frank moved quickly, rising to stand between the stranger and his family. "You need to leave," Frank shouted. "This is our house. What do you want?" My baby self started crying, and the man in dark clothes stepped forward, a glint of metal by his side. A crowbar. Then chaos followed. A scream, a crash. The camera jolted off the table, landing half beneath the couch, angled low toward the floor. It didn't stop. It kept recording. Screams, sobbing, the clatter of glass, a child's wail. And with a heavy thud, a body fell into view. Within the sliver of view beneath the couch, Frank dropped into frame. He was bleeding, coughing, one arm twisted beneath him. A heavy boot stepped over him. The man. Frank looked panicked, and with a sickening squelch of meat and bone, the man beat Frank to death, striking his face with the crowbar. Once, twice, again. The screen flickered and went static. But it wasn't over. After a few seconds, the tape resumed. A different house. A different Christmas. New wallpaper. New tree. Quieter. I was older now, around 3 years old, smiling, unbothered, opening a present. A toy dinosaur. Battery operated. When I pressed its back, it roared. I grinned. From behind the camera, "Do you like it?" my father asked me. I nodded, smiling and playing with my new friend. But in the background, just barely, almost missed, came the muffled sound of a woman crying, begging, "Please, please don't hurt my baby." Then footsteps. A door opened. The same voice from the camera yelled something down the hall, or down the stairs. I didn't flinch, just pressed the dinosaur's button again. It roared, and I laughed. The video ended. I sat there long after the screen went black. The camcorder was still humming, but I couldn't move. My heart felt hollow, my body cold. I kept thinking about Frank, about that woman, about the man who took me and made me call him Dad. I kept thinking about the toy dinosaur too. It was still in a box, somewhere in my closet, my favorite toy growing up. And I thought about something else, something I hadn't realized until now. In all those tapes, there were no other kids, not even my siblings, just me. I'm going now to call my sister. I need to talk to her about what I watched. I want answers. I want this feeling inside to go away. I want to know what's on the other tapes.